Hello and welcome to the channel. I am that Evernote guy providing you actionable content that you yourself can use to make your Evernote better and better. This week we are looking at another new update from Evernote. They just keep coming and coming. And this is again a return of a previous feature, which is the import folder, which, as you can imagine from the name, automatically allows Evernote to watch a specific folder and import anything that goes into that folder into Evernote. So files, attachments, and whatever you put into the folder. So without further ado, I'm going to show you very quickly how to set it up, some use cases and my thoughts and opinions. So I'm going to chuck myself down there and we'll get right on with this. Right, here we are in my Evernote demo account. I don't usually show the rest of my desktop, but for the purpose of this, it's specifically required. So the first thing to do to connect our folder is to go to Tools, Preferences, and we will see a new option here, Import Folder. If you're not seeing that in your Evernote, which I didn't when I looked for it, I went to check for releases and it said, oh, you're up to date. To actually get this, you need to go to the Evernote website and click download, and then you'll get the latest version, and then this feature will appear. So let's click on Import Folder there, and we simply got an option to connect a folder. Looks like, I wonder if we can add, just thinking out loud here, wonder if you can add multiple folders. Let's find out. Okay, let's collect a folder, and I've created one on the desktop, which I've already tested and then removed, so looks like it's gone to that already as default, but I'm going to put the Evernote importer there, so I'll click on that and select. And that is this folder here that you can see on the desktop here, the Evernote importer. And that is my selected one, and it asks what notebook you want to send it into. It will default to your default notebook indicated by the star there, but if you want to change that, you can click that and select any notebook that you want to. I'm going to leave it as the default one. Other options available, you can include subfolders. So if you start to put a whole bunch of subfolders into the master importer folder, it will include content from them. I don't know how it works with classifying information from the subfolder, if that gets part of the naming structure, because if you're using subfolders, I guess that's for a reason, photos or different clients or whatever, then you may want to bring that logic into Evernote so you know what you've got. Don't know about that, probably should test that. And remove source file, I don't know what is, I suppose that would be to actually remove the file from the folder, so you've got single master copy in Evernote. Anyway, that's coming soon, but we're not going to do any of those options. We're just going to stick with the standard options and click save, and that's it. It's pretty simple. Let's compare the two options of manually importing things and automatically importing things. So if I manually wanted to import this PDF here, which is entitled Rota 269, I could do new task. I could click add button, and the default is to add a note, and then I could simply drag drop that in there, and that pops it in. And as we know with Evernote, it automatically displays as the PDF content. It doesn't give it a title. And let's compare that to if I move that into the Evernote importer folder. So that's popped into there now, and this is when Evernote will sense that there's something new in there as it's watching it, and it's imported, and you can see you get a little notification on your desktop there. And the nice touch is that it does use the title of the PDF as the title of the note, which if you've got a sensible title of your PDF, then you're going to have a sensible note title. That's great. If you've got a huge string of numbers that don't make any sense to you, then you're going to need to rename that. But I guess that's a little bit better than not naming it at all. In terms of how the notes look, they don't look any different whatsoever. For that one's, I don't know why that one scrolls up like that when you click on it. Let's stop doing that now. Anyway, so they look exactly the same. So that's the basic of it. The other method, of course, putting stuff into Evernote would be just to do that, drag drop and copy. Then it asks you where you want to put it in, so we could say inbox and create, and that's another way to import a file. Literally just drag it into the Evernote application. So I mean, 3 different ways to put something into Evernote there. I do like the automated version with the importer. Now, in terms of use cases, I think that's useful if you want somewhere that you know in your Windows or Mac file structure that you can just quickly drop or dump information and you know it's automatically going to be imported into Evernote. I like that as a feature. I think even more useful is if you make that folder part of a file sharing system. So if you're using Box or Dropbox or any of the other sharing systems, if you have a dedicated folder there that you give access to your clients or your customers or your family, friends, depending on what your use case is, then you know when other people put content into those file sharing systems that you are automatically going to save a copy in Evernote. And I like that. I think that's a great use case. I think that's really useful, and I think that's where this gets its power. Also, the other use cases could be if you're using If This Then That or Zapier or any other of the automation services to automatically extract attachments from emails or any other methodology and put those into the folder as well, which then again Evernote can automatically synchronize. So I think it's in and of itself, it's useful, but when you start to add on other applications and other automation services, then I think that's really where you'll really get the power and the benefit. So that's pretty much it for this video. I tell you what, let's carry on. Let's try put some subfolders in here and put some content in and see if it looks any different, as I did start that at the top of the video. So I'm going to include a new folder here, and imagine that we're going to put some photos in here, and then let's put another one, and we'll call this just, I don't know, docs. Okay, now let's put the rotor into photos. Move that to, hang on, let's first set this up in Evernote. Let's go back to Evernote, Tools, Preferences, Import Folders, click on the ellipsis, include subfolders. That is now ticked. Save. Let's go back to that. Let's put that rotor into Docs, and I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to put that into Photos as well, just to see if it looks any different at all. And I don't think it does. It's just a few seconds ago. These ones here, they just come in. So I haven't given this a little thought. I think the use case for subfolders is not necessarily that you can set up what I've done here and classify a bunch of stuff like docs and photos, etc., because that doesn't come through into Evernote. But if somebody, either yourself or somebody you're sharing with, chucks an entire folder of stuff into your Evernote importer folder, it will pick up everything in the folder. So I think that's the use case, but you've got to be aware if you're doing that and sharing it with other people, it will just come in with the PDF title, so you won't know, there's no additional classification added to that. So you do need to, if you're sharing this with other people, you do need to be aware and be able to maintain your content so you've got it classified properly, stored properly, and all that kind of best practice stuff so you can access it in the future. So I'm going to close this video out now, but I think it's interesting to see that there is non-stop development in Evernote. It's an exciting time to be an Evernote user. Cynics may say that, yeah, this is just adding in features that we used to have about 6 months ago before the big change. But I think it's good to see these things coming back and that everything's on a standardized platform and there's tasks being new. There's clearly a development plan, effort, and momentum behind Evernote, and it's a good time to be an Evernote user. Anyway, if you have any comments, please feel free to leave them down below, especially if you used to use import folder, if you would use it yourself, what use cases you might consider for it, anything that I've missed out, anything you would like to see me explore with the import folder. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers.